Did Pharrell just diss Drake on a song for a children's movie? Song for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. Yes, this is real life right now. Pharrell said, "Some of your dirt has come to light. Lie detector time. Hey, what are you hiding? Nothing wrong being private. Make sure it ain't wrong." Now, if you heard any of Kendrick's songs during the battle, you would know that certain things did get mentioned in those songs were pretty disturbing. Now, whether or not all of it's true, that's for another video. But why in the world are Pharrell and Drake beefing?
Drake and Pharrell Williams have a beef that stems from the Pusha T era. Pusha T always been affiliated. Last year, during the Louis Vuitton show, because remember Virgil Abloh died, creative director now is Pharrell Williams. During the Louis Vuitton show, remember, they premiered a Pusha T song where he was dissing Jim Jones and dissing Drake.
This was interesting. So Pharrell has officially, subliminally responded to Drake. And he did it in the most Pharrell way possible, which is on the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. Shout out to Despicable Me, by the way. That's one of my favorite animated series or whatever you want to call it. Apparently, Pharrell has worked with Despicable Me for years and years, and he released a track called Double Life. Now, this is interesting because in the actual Despicable Me movie, Gru, which is the main character, the big tall guy, he leads a double life. He has this secret life where he's this he used to be a villain, then he turned into a good guy because of the kids that he I think he adopted, if I remember, in the first Despicable Me. I don't know if he adopted him, or I think he adopted him, but yeah, he used to be this evil guy, then he turned into the guy fighting for good. So Pharrell in the track is pretty much saying Drake is living a double life.
The music industry just exploded with the most jaw-dropping news, and you absolutely need to hear this. Pharrell Williams, yes, the Pharrell Williams has just dropped the most shocking bombshell, and it's aimed directly at Drake. The legendary producer has set social media on absolute fire with his new track, and let me tell you, it's not just any ordinary song, it's loaded with some seriously heavy accusations against the Canadian superstar. And hold on to your seats, because Pharrell went there and actually called Drake a culture vulture. I know what you're thinking. This is absolutely scandalous. But here's the thing, there's actually a whole group of people who've been sitting back, waiting years for Pharrell to finally put Drake in his place. The tension has been building for so long, and now it's finally happening. Want to know the juiciest part? How Drake handled this massive shade, and what exactly pushed Pharrell, who's usually so calm and collected, to this breaking point? Well, buckle up tight, because this story is about to take you on the wildest ride of celebrity drama you've ever seen.
And after the Kendrick-Drake beef happened, and unanimously, well, maybe not unanimously, because there's going to be people in the comments that say Drake won, but semi-unanimously, Kendrick wins this battle. And it seems like Pharrell does a little victory lap, okay? Not only in the scene is he driving a car in the movie, but he's talking about Drake's secrets. Maybe you should stay more private. Maybe you should be more quiet like me and stay in your lane, because it seems like some shit's about to come out about you.
Now, let me spill this piping hot tea. Of all people in the music industry, Pharrell, yes, the same Pharrell who typically stays miles away from drama and keeps things strictly professional, decided to take a massive swing at Drake. But what makes this situation absolutely delicious in its irony, he did it on a children's song. I'm not even kidding. The former Neptunes member dropped this track called Double Life for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack, and oh my goodness, when I tell you these lyrics are absolutely dripping with shade, I mean every word. Let's break down these absolutely savage lyrics because they're just too good to skip over. In the first verse, Pharrell goes, "Hey, what are you hiding? What you do when you're gone? Nothing wrong being private. Make sure it ain't wrong. Your life double-sided, two-faced like coins. What side do I get? What side are you on?" The way he delivered these lines, you could practically feel the judgment dripping from every word. But wait, because it gets even juicier. In the second verse, he throws an absolute knockout punch with "Lie detector time, do you feel bad when you lie?" The audacity, the drama, the shade of it all. And darling, the pre-chorus, it's an absolute masterpiece of subtle shade. Listen to this. "So what have you done? Some of your dirt has come to light. Why were you speeding up that hill until the brakes come off and someone saw you in a fight, am I right?" Social media is absolutely convinced these lyrics are aimed straight at Drake, especially considering all that dirty laundry that got aired during his recent explosive beef with Kendrick Lamar. Speaking of which, we need to talk about all those wild claims Drake's been throwing around. He had the nerve to say Baby Keem was ghostwriting for Kendrick, then went even further by claiming Dave Free was actually the birth father of Kendrick's kids, and apparently even fed Kendrick fake information about himself. But here's where it gets really interesting. Fans have been doing their homework and calling out these claims left and right, saying they're nothing but fabricated stories meant to drag Kendrick's name through the mud. And that particular line about seeing someone in a fight, everyone's pretty sure it's referencing Drake's notorious altercations, especially that messy situation with Chris Brown that had everyone talking. But honey, when we get to verse 3, that's where Pharrell really twists the knife. He sings, "Solemn sorry, but you have to choose a side. You'll never know when it's your time to go, and where you end up in life that's cold. You can't ignore you're spending your life. Your watch is broken, cause you spent all your time. It's now or never. Unless everything rights before the spinning stops, you must pick a side." Now, this hits different when you remember what Kendrick spilled in Not Like Us about Drake allegedly sleeping with one of Wayne's girls while Wayne was behind bars. The scandal of it all is just absolutely overwhelming. But the burning question on everyone's mind is, why would Pharrell, someone who usually stays in his own lane and minds his own business, suddenly come for Drake like this? Well, grab your popcorn and get comfortable, because we need to take this story all the way back to the early 2000s for it to make sense. Picture this. It's 2002, and Drake is just another hopeful artist on Star Trek, desperately trying to make it big by sharing his early tracks with Neptune's fans. Bless his heart, he got ridiculed back then, but that's not even close to where the real drama begins. The real storm started brewing when the Neptunes and Birdman had their massive falling out. See, the Neptunes produced this track called What Happened to That Boy for Birdman, but rumor has it they never saw a single penny for their work. The disrespect is just unbelievable. The situation got even messier when Lil Wayne decided to stir the pot in 2005. Wayne wanted some Billionaire Boys Club merch for his video shoots, you know, the fashion label Pharrell created. But after getting burned by Birdman, Pharrell wasn't about to play nice. He turned Wayne down flat. But Wayne, oh, he took that rejection and turned it into a whole new level of petty. He went ahead and bought the merch anyway, flaunting it in his video as a straight-up diss. The absolute nerve. And just when you thought the pettiness couldn't get any worse, Wayne appeared on Vibe magazine's cover in 2006, deliberately dressed head to toe in Bape, another brand closely associated with Pharrell. But this time, Pharrell's camp wasn't about to take it lying down. Clips, the iconic hip-hop duo of No Malice and Pusha T, fired back with their track Mr. Me Too, produced by the Neptunes themselves, dropping those legendary lines. Want to know the time better, clock us ninja, bite the style from the shoes to the watches. But Wayne? He was completely unbothered by it all. During his Complex interview, he went off saying, "Talk to me like you're talking to the best. I don't see no effing clips, Wheezy man. They had to do a song with us to get hot, B. What happened to that boy? Come on, B. And who the F is? Pharrell, do you really respect him? That ninja wore Bapes and y'all thought he was weird. I wore it and y'all thought it was hot." The disrespect was just astronomical. From that point on, it was absolute war. Pusha T, staying loyal to Pharrell like the real one he is, made it his personal mission to tear Drake down over the years. You see, Drake being signed to Wayne's Young Money label basically made him guilty by association, and Pusha T wasn't about to let that slide. And when I tell you Pusha went hard, I mean hard. He dropped tracks like The Story of Adidon that absolutely demolished Drake's reputation. Now, let's fast forward to 2022, because this is where the drama takes an absolutely wild turn. Pharrell hosted this super exclusive Jupiter auction, the world's first global auction house and online content platform. He put up some absolutely incredible pieces that had everyone's jaws on the floor. We're talking the NERD brain pendant going for an astronomical $150,000, the skateboard pendant chain for $13,000, and the crown jewel, the iconic NERD character's pendant chain for a mind-blowing $284,000. Some mystery buyer came through and snatched up almost everything, and at the time, nobody thought much about it since the money was going to charity. But here comes the plot twist that absolutely nobody saw coming. In 2023, Pharrell landed this incredibly prestigious position as creative director at Louis Vuitton, you know, filling the shoes of the legendary Virgil Abloh. And guess who was absolutely fuming about it? Drake. And honey, the way he showed his displeasure was just next level petty. In his Jumbotron shit poppin' video, he revealed himself as the mystery buyer of all those auction pieces. But wait, because it gets even more disrespectful. He wasn't collecting these pieces out of any sort of respect or appreciation, absolutely not. He flashed them again in Meltdown with Travis Scott, dropping those incredibly disrespectful lines. I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss, give a F about all of that heritage shit. Drake made it crystal clear he couldn't care less about Pharrell's precious artifacts, and even had the audacity to suggest Louis Vuitton made a huge mistake by hiring him. The level of disrespect is just off the charts. While Pharrell kept his dignity and stayed quiet, Dot jumped to his defense in Euphoria this year, serving Drake with this serious warning. I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell for him, I inherit the beef. Yeah, F all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T, you better off spinning again on him. You think about pushing me, he's Terrence Thornton, I'm Terrence Crawford, yeah, I'm whooping feet. But did Drake take the hint and back off? Absolutely not. He came back even harder with Family Matters and dragged Pharrell right back into the mess, spitting these lines. West Coast ninjas do fades, right? Come get this whooping, I'm handing them out. You want to take up for Pharrell, then come get his legacy out of my house. And as if that wasn't disrespectful enough, he had the nerve to bring out those jewels in the music video. The absolute audacity of this man. Now, Pharrell finally addressed this whole situation in his GQ Man of the Year cover story, and his response, pure class and elegance. He took the high road saying Drake's a fan of music, he's a fan of the history of what it is, and I happen to be a part of that, and those artifacts are a part of it. He even claimed the Meltdown lyrics and threats didn't bother him one bit. In fact, he seemed almost relieved to have sold the items, sharing this deep insight. I didn't realize you never realize how much all the stuff you have weighs on you, but it does. You don't know it until you get rid of it. But here's the real tea that everyone needs to understand. Pharrell calling Drake a culture vulture isn't just coming out of nowhere.
The funniest thing to me right now is that whether you're a Drake fan, Kendrick fan, anybody, the way that Drake responds to being able to say the word you know what I'm saying? How do you defend that? You either double down and say how black you are, which is weird, or you completely ignore it, as Drake often has. Everybody reacted to this Drake line. Metro, shut your ass up and make some drums, nigga. It was hilarious. But now everybody's reacting to this Kendrick line. I even hate the way you say the word, but that's just me, I guess.
Drake's mixed background has always made his use of certain words controversial, but the culture vulture accusations, that's opening up a whole different can of worms.
Just ask Earl Sweatshirt.
And it's sad because I didn't see them I didn't think they were like that. But then after you work it out, bruv, and that's when enough of them are pagan, you get me?
Who's a pagan? Because
Drake. Bruv, Drake is a pagan, Drake is a culture vulture.
A growing number of fans are absolutely convinced that Drake only uses the culture when it benefits his career and image.
My biggest takeaway from this Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef is that comprehension skills are at an all-time low. Kendrick Lamar at the end of Euphoria said you can't say nigga more. And a lot of people are pinpointing to Drake being biracial. And it's not because Drake is biracial. It's for the fact that Drake only embraces his blackness when it benefits him. And keep in mind, this is a man with a history of this. And for the people that want to say that is a long time ago, then how come just last year on Slime You Out, he said whipped and chained like you American slaves? I don't know about y'all, but I've never seen someone that's pro-black be doing stuff like this.
At the end of the day, Pharrell just handed Drake another massive headache to deal with before the year wraps up, and honestly, the majority of fans think he's absolutely spot on with his assessment. Drake's been dodging these culture vulture accusations for years now, and many people believe it's about time someone of Pharrell's stature finally called him out on it. But what's your take on all this drama? Do you think Drake is really a culture vulture? Was Pharrell's track actually throwing shade, or are we reading too much into it? Is Drake going to come back with an even bigger response? We're dying to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other absolutely incredible videos on the channel.